Hey guys, welcome back to Masten Made. Thank you for showing up and checking out this video. My name is Ben Masten. I call myself the Amputated Medic. And I'm going to do a couple things. So first of all, I'm just going to give a little bit of an update on me. If you've been following my story, 6 years ago I had a right foot amputation. It's called a Syme's amp or Syme's amputation. I wear a prosthetic for that. It's a prosthetic foot. My leg goes in, I have my leg, it goes into this receptacle. And I was doing great for 6 years, full-time paramedic on an ambulance. In fact, most people said they didn't know I even had an amputation. They couldn't tell, and I would jump in and out of ditches, with a little bit of help, I might add, from my guys, but get on the ground to do CPR, the whole 9 yards. And then last December, I had a left foot infection. Fought hard to keep it from happening, but it did. And had a left foot amputation, or a left Syme's amputation, Christmas Eve of 2024. Well, unlike the first time, that second amputation didn't go well, didn't heal. And I got reinfected, had osteomyelitis in the leg. If you know anything about infection in the bone, you get osteomyelitis, and that pretty much is the end of your leg. And they did a below the knee amputation in April. I fell in May, reopened up the stitches 4 inches, had to go back to surgery, and here I've been. A couple of my other videos, I had a knee cart. You might have seen me on a knee cart. But about a month ago, I got a prosthetic leg. And I'm still in the testing phase. They call it test sockets. So I have my leg, which is metal, and of course my pants here don't stretch too long, back good, so I can't go up too high, but got this metal prosthetic, but this up here is plastic that my stump goes into, and they call it a test socket. And I am on my 3rd test socket, and they're going to probably do one more, and then hopefully I will have my permanent leg. So I set all that up for this. So as I was there with the prosthetic people, they talked about how they did a lion for a lady. She like rescues wild or exotic cats, lions, tigers, and cheetahs. Oh my! And she wanted a lion on her socket, and so they made a lion, put lights in the eyes. And so this lion on her leg, it's on their Facebook page, is awesome. The eyes light up and it roars. And they told me about that, and I said, well, I've been a paramedic for, and an EMT first, now a paramedic for 33 years. I'm like, can you do an ambulance? And the prosthetic lady's eyes just lit up. She's like, oh, I'm going to ask and see. That would be so cool. Turns out they can do an ambulance. So I took a picture of one of my trucks, and they're going to put it on my final leg. They're going to put lights in the light bar and even a siren. So that'll be cool. You want to stay tuned for that. So that's a little update on me. I can walk. I walk a little funny, as you might see. My stump gets sore the longer the day goes. And I've also been having some pain in my right hip because of using it as an oar for the last 6 months on that knee cart. My right leg has been doing this number everywhere I go, and my right hip's got some inflammation. But what we're going to do today is we're going to set up to be able to have that print go on a test socket. What that entails is they needed a piece of paper, they needed a picture on a piece of fabric. And I kind of chuckled. I said, I can do that, because if you've watched one of my earlier videos on my channel, I learned how to do t-shirts, to press t-shirts. And so it's a product called DTF, Direct to Fabric. And so I send off for these prints. Someday I hope to be able to get a DTF printer, and I can do these prints in-house, because they get a little pricey when you're just doing them one at a time. If I would do 100 t-shirts, for example, they really are pretty cheap. But doing 1 or 2s, they're kind of pricey. But anyway, there's the picture of the ambulance that I'm going to use. And I'm kind of proud of this. This is our brand new ambulance, actually. We just got that 3 months ago. And as you can see, I need to cut it down. So we're going to trim it up on this piece of cardboard. And then we're going to press it to a t-shirt, because I said the picture has to be on fabric. So we're going to press it to a t-shirt. I wonder if I have that slide that over in here. And it will be ready to take in for them to put on the final socket. I don't have that. Maybe this will work. I just don't want to cut into the picture, so I'm going to kind of use this edge to help protect. Now again, if you've been listening to any of my videos, my wife normally does this because I have issues pressing things straight onto the t-shirts. So she normally does this, and she does a great job. Well, this one, since it's going on my leg, it's not going to have to be straight. So I just decided I can do this one myself. And it's actually kind of fun to do. So I'm just using a box cutter, apparently a rather dull box cutter. I think my wife got these on TikTok or something. So I call her the prosthetic lady, but her name's Marissa, and she has been awesome, and she is really excited, and I'm really excited. For when this is done. I mean, if they can really, like, I took a video of the lights on, like the light bar being on, and I audio recorded the siren. I'm like, if they can really reproduce that, that is going to be awesome. All right, so there's our picture cut down. That's going to get pressed on a shirt. And I was thinking, I mean, I could use a white shirt. I was going to test and see which one here would show up the best. So I could do a white shirt, but I was thinking I'd do a gray. So there's white. The other one is gray. I think I want to do the gray background instead of white. I think I'm going to do gray. And just as a side note, these prosthetic guys, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but they put my disaster response team patch, again, in one of my other videos. I made a metal sign that was an old patch from a team that I was on. We did all kinds of cool stuff. The SWAT team, the bomb squad, mass casualty, lots of awesome training. And they put that patch on my prosthetic on my right. Now this is going on my left. So just some cool things, you know, and that's the thing. I'll just say, like, you know, you go through this, and I think about the people that have had to go through this, and I've even taken some to the hospital. When I had my right foot amputation, I took 3 or 4 times, took diabetics that had wounds on their feet, transferred them from the smaller hospital that I was at to Fort Wayne to the big city hospital where they were going to have an amputation. And they were upset. They were crying, and they thought their life was over basically, because they don't know what to expect. Just like I didn't know what to expect 6 years ago. And that was my opportunity to pounce on them in a good way. And I would just, after I got, you know, my blood pressure and pulse and vitals, I just sat there and I just said, listen, there's something about me you don't know. And they'd look at me, and I would say, I'm an amputee. And their face would just look at me like, yeah, right. And I would lift up my leg, I'd show them my prosthetic, tell them about my foot not being there, and tell them my story. And then I would always end it with saying, your life's not over because of this amputation. And you give it a year or two, and you'll almost forget that you don't have a foot until you take your clothes off at night to go to bed or get in the shower. You will forget that you're amputated. If it's a foot. Now, if it's a leg, that's a little different. But it was the hope that they needed. At least I hope it was. And it's what I desire to do. It's why I'm doing this, to be honest, is what I want to do is show people that go through this. Their life's not over. Now, I'm really struggling because will I ever get on an ambulance again? And I got to tell you, I have no idea. I have no idea if I'm going to get on an ambulance ever again. I really hope I can. The prosthetic people think I can. But I don't know. I'm definitely not there yet. And that's been hard for me. I've done this since I was 20 years old. And it's been really hard for me, emotionally. But you keep going every day. Every day is a new day. If you could see me 6 months ago compared to where I am now, I didn't know how to do t-shirts 6 months ago. I didn't know how to do metal signs 6 months ago. I had my laser engraving, which I'd been doing, but I didn't know any of this. And this is where YouTube has been amazing for me. So, all right, so I got the shirt on here, and we're gonna just hold down and press it for about 10 seconds. And this is just to basically iron it and get those wrinkles out. And so if you look at that, those wrinkles are nice and gone. And because it's going to wrap around sideways, or wrap around my leg, I think I'm going to do it like this instead of do it the other way. If I do it the other way, that would still work, but if I do it this way, I don't know. Let me think about that. My leg is there. This would rotate and wrap around with the front of the ambulance be that way. But if I did it this way, same thing. It's going to wrap around. To be honest, it probably doesn't matter either way. So now we'll just do it the normal way. So I got that on there. I got to remember how to do this, to be honest. So you take a piece of Teflon paper and you put it over that. The thing that I'm nervous about is do I do one on the pad below? I didn't. I think I'm supposed to put butcher paper. Actually, let's do that. Or another Teflon underneath. It just protects the pad. like I said, my wife's been doing these, and in my quote-unquote old age, if you don't use it, you lose it. I am the epitome of that statement. All right. Shirt back on there. That on. Got my Teflon paper. And I put it in. My settings are 320 degrees. And press it for 20 seconds. And it will auto pop at the end of that 20 seconds. And it's loud. And it kind of makes you jump, actually. All right. So that's on there. So we're going to let it cool for a little bit, and then I'm going to pull that off and repress it. So I will come back and show you that here in just a second. All right. All right, so I let that cool for a little bit. I'm going to pull off the press, just like that. And then we re-Teflon it. And press it again. Same settings, 320 degrees for 20 seconds. And there's the pop. My wife jump every time. And there we go, guys. And actually, it wouldn't be bad as a shirt. Could wear it as a shirt. But this one's gonna go right down there. And so obviously I'll do a follow-up when they do put this on my new leg, and I'll show you guys how that goes. So basically that's it for this one. I'm going to be doing some metal print videos coming up, and hope to see you back. Thanks for watching.